Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Virtek and Chibi Bree, are back from their latest adventures.
If you have found this crystal, then you know of our doom. You know of the days of yore, of the ancient times of magic and plenty. You know of Verra and all of the wonder and beauty it once held. You know what you have lost. However, there is hope, for you yet still live. We knew something was wrong immediately after the Harbingers fell. The blackened, twisted spires of rock rose high up to the heavens, pulsating with a magic most unnatural. The wind tore at my magical wards as black lightning forked the skies. A sense of pervading wrongness filled my entire being. Every breath felt like it would be my last as I pressed forward. I had to know what happened to my homeland, to what lay beyond the harbinger of our doom. What had become of my Alaran? The home I knew so well. I joined my fellows at the gate, my brothers and sisters of Verra, my fellow refugees from this torn land. I wondered what fate would await us in the new sanctuary beyond the home that I knew. Sadly, that was only the beginning of our fall.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode with the Golden Feather. Today is episode 27 with Lyiat, featuring glorious Ashes Spooktacular, and I brought my pumpkin carving.
Oh,
How are
yeah.
you,
Oh, yeah,
Lyiat?
it's much better than mine.
Oh yes.
Fingers with the chop, 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 chop.
It's super awesome. It is Spider-Man. You're correct.
I was totally gonna be wearing the mask on my head, but it won't fit over these things, so you know, whatever.
And
It'd also be a little hard to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, right.
Hang up back here.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Lyiat. How are you?
I'm quite all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. I understand that you have been making videos on lore.
Yes, quite recently.
Okay. I can't get to my printer because be able to enter. Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry. So the video that you guys just saw in the beginning, and don't worry, I will play it again later, is by Lyiat, and you can see the full video, if Virtek will link it for me, please, right there on his his YouTube channel. The @ symbol underneath is also his Twitter handle, so.
Yeah, we'll also we'll be playing it again later on for anybody who, because we tend to have a couple people that join up later on as well. So
yeah, agreed.
We'll spotlight our little snippet, which, by the way, the video that played before we came on was just a little 1 minute thing that we clipped out of a much longer video. So
yeah,
it's not the whole thing. It's like I snipped from a whole bunch of different segments of it. If it seemed disjointed, that's why.
Yep. I promise you, the real thing is perfectly good. So,
part of the beginning and then pretty much right at the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I was looking for something else that sounded cool, and also I just didn't want to, didn't want to ruin too much of the middle stuff.
And the one thing I really liked about it, yeah, no spoilers. But yeah, what I really liked about it though is it's not official lore, not really given out as canon from Steven or Jeff or anybody like that.
Yeah.
I really like that you took a little bit of a creative license and the in-game resources to kind of create a backstory of somebody in the time before, the what are they calling it? The parting or something, where everybody left.
The Exodus.
Oh.
Yeah, the Exodus.
Yeah, the Exodus. Yeah. That's pretty, I like it. It's really unique. I especially love the part where you are doing, towards the end where you're going towards the portal, right before, we get sucked into the portal for the game. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I had a couple of really nice transitions in there. In fact, I think my favorite moment in the entire thing was when I said that I was summoning my magic to teleport myself, and I used the arcane
yeah.
burst to do a screen transition from Brighthold to the Spire.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that and I was like, oh, that's clever. I liked that. That was clever editing. By the way, that's the part that you guys will see by looking at the full video on the YouTube video,
Yeah, that
YouTube
was
channel. YouTube
craftily done. Craftily
Yeah.
done. Like I said, very good editing on that.
Indeed, indeed. Now I do have some announcements before we get too started. So I don't know if any of you guys noticed, but right down here or wherever I think it's over here for you guys. Mine's over here. But anyway, below the chat, there is now a what do you call it? Channel points. Channel currency, which we've renamed to gold coins to go along with the golden feather and the tavern appeal. And this allows you to get rewards while you're watching us. So you can unlock emojis, you can unlock a shout out, things like that. Everything is kind of temporary as far as like what we're offering, but there's even being able to unlock highlighting your text so that we see it. So another
If you
thing,
really want to make sure everybody reads your stuff, that's the way to do it.
that too, yes. Another thing with that is the subscribers going forward. I would be, if you guys are a subscriber to our channel, we'll be doing a meeting halfway through the month before, like for example, around the 15th of this month, we'd have a meeting for next month's like new thing that we're gonna offer as a custom reward. As well as you guys are aware, which has recently caused it so that we have ads on our channel, whether we like it or not. We can choose to roll it in the middle, which I'd rather just do it in the beginning because we're a podcast. We have no reason to roll out an ad thing. But subscribers also get the benefit of having no ads. So if you want to not do any ads, deal with those ads, they're gone. Feel free to do a subscription. And we're working on other things that we'd like to offer with that because we have plans, but we need to figure out how to implement those plans.
Yeah, and to be honest, like this thing's brand new. We didn't know it was there until we just logged in today. So
Yeah,
we haven't had time to plan anything as of just yet.
exactly. But Lyiat, who are you? Where are you? What do you do?
So I'm a YouTuber. I've been doing, well, I started YouTube probably about 9 years ago at this point, but I've had to take several hiatuses due to personal reasons and having to find a real job, that sort of thing. But now that Ashes of Creation is back, I've really stuck myself in it, and I want to primarily cover that game going forward. Ashes of Creation I find to be a very ambitious project, and I want to get involved in it in every single sort of way. So I've been tailoring everything that we've been doing towards that goal. But yeah, we've been around for quite a while. We were big for a time back in 2014, I think it was, when I started covering the Neverwinter MMO, and our subscribers jumped up to around 2,000 at that time, and we've kind of slowly descended to the point where we are now, mostly because I joined up with Curse for a while and I stopped making videos on our YouTube, and then I started working where I am as an IT professional, and I just didn't have time for it anymore.
Okay. Well,
These things happen.
You certainly have the repertoire, if you know. Some really big names on that list for sure, such as Neverwinter. I remember trying to play Neverwinter. I remember calling it like the D&D online kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It seemed and felt that way. It was a little more gritty than a lot of stuff that was out there.
I've always loved D&D, so I got really behind that MMO until it moved into a direction I just didn't like anymore. So I stopped covering it, and I lost
Yeah.
my audience as a result.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and say that that may have happened to me a time or two along the way, because I keep going into like I do the same little loop that you did, only I do it repeatedly. I get all amped up into streaming, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I start doing things. I get on a regular schedule, and then something comes around, be it work or moving or school, and I just end up dropping it and completely walking away accidentally. And I realize like 3 months later, I haven't streamed in 3 months. And everybody's gone.
Yeah.
But
It happens. I mean, it also kind of lightweight happened to us when we went from Party of 5 to Golden Feather. We had to do a completely new YouTube channel. So that's another thing that kind of... Because on our previous YouTube, I think we had gotten to at least 100, so I could have done a custom naming for the like YouTube channel, like youtube.com/Party of 5 or something. So slowly working our way back up, getting momentum, but here we are, episode 27, further than we went last time, and I honestly think we are doing a lot better than we did last time too. I feel like the content has gotten a lot better, especially with the actual release of the BR testing mode, and being able to actually do more with that. So sorry if I'm looking around. I'm like checking my cam because the the sun's going down and so is my light. So
But
I think
yeah, I totally understand what you mean when it comes to coming back to it. My videos now are so much better and higher quality than they were, 5 years ago, mostly because of, improvements in technology, and I also just understand things a lot better now. So
right.
I'm sure it's the same way for you guys.
there is a learning curve.
Yeah, learning how to better products, better ways of, editing things.
There's also a good or bad luck with technology curve as
Yeah.
well, which we bumped into today. Everything's all set, everything's all balanced, everything's good to go, and stream. And OBS says, yeah, no, just no.
And then after I restarted my computer, it's like, oh, by the way, Zoom is now deciding to not work, and you cannot rejoin the conversation. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Thanks, Zoom.
But,
Love you too.
But yeah, so question for you. I noticed when I was doing a little bit of homework on your channels and such that you end up going by Lyiat. And you also have, most of your channels are actually named the Cyan Firefly. And you have a second member of that little group. Is there any difference in, say, goals of different pages? Or is it just that you happen to have your own because you happen to have your own, but the Cyan Firefly is like your main output? Or are you kind of splitting up different topics for different things?
So Lyiat is really my online persona, whereas the Cyan Firefly is the channel I work off of. It's our brand. The Cyan Firefly consists of 2 members. It's myself and Asley. Asley is primarily my artist. She's also my fiance. We've been together for about 15 years. She doesn't really do any of the videos or anything like that. She does have a couple on there, but mostly I do the production, she does the artwork, and she helps me make the whole thing work, really.
Kind of like
Teamwork.
Virtek and I.
Teamwork. I like it.
Yeah.
And congrats
I
on
do all the
15-year
recording.
thing.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats on that.
It's
That's a big marker.
Yeah, especially these days. It's a long time to be together, so that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, we are the classic high school sweethearts.
Aww.
Aw. I like it.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favorite part of Ashes? And to take it one step further, which may influence that, is your favorite individual podcast? Not specifically a podcast brand or name, but individual podcast that you've seen or you can recall, or handcrafted video about Ashes lore.
Oh boy. That's a multi-part question. So There are very few things about Ashes of Creation so far that I dislike. I can start with that. But perhaps the most ambitious thing, the thing that got me most behind it, was the entire concept of the node system and the fact that the whole world will be constantly evolving and changing. I have a major draw to existing, worlds that kind of change and shift with the actions of the players. That was one of the things that really got me into Guild Wars 2. I was really excited about all the hubbub about players being able to alter the map and things like that, when in reality all Guild Wars 2 turned out to be was kind of I'm gonna botch this word, but obscured tug of war systems, whereas Ashes of Creation seems to be a lot more of what I was expecting, where players legitimately have an impact on every ounce of development. They decide where the cities are, they decide where the stories happen. Everything's being put in our hands, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree on that. Because my favorite thing is the nodes, which falls right in line with the player-driven development, and not necessarily like a lot of sandboxes are like, well, it's player-driven, but it's by direct, absolute decisions. And even then, like the major cities are still where the major cities are.
Right.
And everything else is player-driven, but you have to actively make a choice. It's not reactive. You have to tell it exactly what to do. I like how Ash has made it and changed it around to be actually reactive to the way players are playing and what players are doing, and the decisions they make, whether they realize it or not, are having an impact upon the way things come out in the story and the server. So that's the additional change that I love.
The game is the reactive one, not the players.
Right.
Which is interesting.
I also just love the whole hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and mute the desktop sound because I don't think there's a reason for it to be going. But I love the whole just like you said, like the Verra is like living and breathing and reactive, and this is the first time we're seeing something like this, with the player changing the game and not the game changing the player. Like usually, like with World of Warcraft, you're following the storyline and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that she did that, or I can't believe that happened. Like it's like that shock factor, and that kind of like changes your assessment of the game a little bit. Like I know a few people that went from Horde to Alliance or vice versa just because of the storyline, and they're like, nah, forget this, I'm switching sides, I'm done with this, I don't agree with this, like all of this stuff. And I like that, but I also like that we are able to kind of drive our own story while having the story of Verra at the same time. It's not one or the
MMO
other.
Game changes you.
Oh gosh. But
yeah, so with the multi-part question. Oh, go ahead.
Just curious, have you had any experience with the Archage Unchained?
No. I played a lot of Archage before Unchained, but I have not had any experience with Unchained itself.
Okay. The only reason why I bring that up is because one thing that I did see that was similar is there's player housing and there's the loss of XP upon death.
Yes. Archage does have both of those things. The difference is, and I may be wrong on this, but this was something I was told earlier on in development, is that in Ashes of Creation, you can lose experience when you hit level cap, whereas in Archage, once you hit level cap, you do not lose experience. Oh,
like from dying still, even though you're level cap.
Correct.
Okay, I understand then.
Yeah, that's the part I'm unsure of. I do know that when you reach a certain level, they were saying you would basically build a deficit of experience rather than de-leveling, like from, say, 47 to 46 if you die. You would end up getting an experience debt down into the level 46, and then you'd need to earn that back up before you could continue through your level 47 progress.
That's crazy.
Like it wouldn't drop down to just the basement level of 47 and go down to 0 experience at level 47. You'd actually go level 47 with negative experience, and you have to gain that back.
Which makes me wonder how you would actually lose experience at level cap, but that's something for them to explore down the road, I guess.
Sort of like EverQuest as theater side.
Yeah, and that's the part where I'm curious if they would actually, because that could potentially be 2 years, or who knows how long they're going to do it. It could be a year, it could be 2, it could be 3, or even 4 before they increase a level cap. I mean, can you imagine if somebody just does a lot of PvP, but they're bad at it, but they like it, so they go in and they just die a lot, and next thing you know, the next level cap comes around to raise it up to like level 60. And here they are at like level 20 experience because they died so much in PvP. And they have to, I mean, they're level 50 power, so they can go through some quests, but they're going to get to like level 51 or 52 quests, and they're going to start hitting a block of, man, this is getting tough.
Yeah. I think that's slightly amusing to think of. Sounds like being bad at PvP. Right?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, same.
I'm a little over exaggerative. When I actually have time to get to know a character and play it, I can be decent. I only say decent. I'm never excellent in PvP unless I'm given a specific job and I can do that one job really well. But overall, yeah, I'm not a PvP person as far as being good. I like it, but yeah, I'm bad.
I'm really bad at it too. Like, I kept celebrating when I lasted longer than 5 minutes. So.
But yeah.
I mean, if you're going by the BR, I mean, Danny and I played the other day and we won every game but 2. So.
Yeah,
I liked the little sneak peek you sent me. 17. That looked cute.
Yes. Yeah, I do have an upcoming video. It's more of a comedy video compared to the more serious tone of the lore video I did. But okay. Yeah, that's something that's looking pretty fun. That was some gameplay of the mini game madness that we try to do every week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Like we've got a lot of stuff going on, but we're like, we got to get in like a couple matches, like a match or 2 a week at least, just so we can see any changes and keep up with it and know what's going on. But we're not in that competitive circle where we're always trying to post as many number 1 wins as we can, because yeah, I don't really get those. I think I've actually gotten 2, maybe 3.
I only got 1, but that's because I had squad.
But yeah, I know with BRs I'm especially bad, just because I don't have time to get to know skills and whatnot and get to know a character and like custom build the character how I want it to be. It's like everyone's on the equal playing field, which, let's be honest, makes it worse for me. But yeah, it's still fun though.
Yeah.
You want to come in with every advantage.
Yeah.
Speaking of what Theater just said, do you want to chat about your most recent video?
Oh, yes. I posted a video the other day regarding the decline and death of the BR, because I'm going to be honest, that's what's currently going on. Now that the BR has declined to the point where we only have like 10-player matches, unless you're still grinding cosmetics, it's just not as fun to play anymore. It really isn't.
No, my question on that actually is going to end up being, how quickly do the matches fill up though? Because I know that Ashes had said that they wanted to test everything, which would include more rapid fire, smaller matches. And they may or may not also be trying to, because it's getting closer to the end of the month, get people a lot of instant matches so that they can get more experience than just one that lasts a longer time. Those are theories of mine, but
so, and I think I know what you're getting at. The queues vary between 2 to 5 minutes. Every once in a while you get a really fast one that's about 20 to 30 seconds, but it really ranges all over the place. I did have the same idea at one point where I thought maybe they're just trying to test like many simultaneous matches, or they're trying to see like really small matches. But when you look at the design of the new map, the winter map, it's really made for I want to say between 20 to 35 people. That's really where it's at its sweet spot. And when you're playing games with 10 people, you're running into the same issues that the large map had when you had 25, 30 player lobbies, where you just have no middle game. You get geared up, you have that, first fight or two if anybody landed near you, and then you're just waiting to the last 3 circles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, like I said, I also need to log in myself just to see. But yeah, that sounds reasonable. I mean, to be honest, I expected the interest to kind of flounder on it because it's not like the game is really designed to be a BR, so there's not those nice fine touches that a lot of other BRs have that are specifically designed for that. It's more like a testing thing, so it's probably not keeping the attention of people who are BR bananas.
Yeah,
But
that's true too.
At the
But I
same
also
time,
like-
the
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say the core fan base that was waiting for the MMO and for anything but BR, so they're kind of dropping like flies after getting the testing in that they needed to.
And and everything I say, by the way, is somebody who honestly doesn't play BRs. I'm not a big BR person, and part of that is theme. Most BRs are military shooters, and that's just not my thing. But I do love Apocalypse, and I've enjoyed and met so many people through it that I just find it a shame that nobody's playing it now.
I personally am not into BRs whatsoever, and I've stated this multiple times throughout the series that we have going on, but in the sport of testing, I do try to get in occasionally, but right now between everything, like I just don't have time. Like if you're expecting me to be active constantly, like that's not gonna happen with me, because I'm working and I'm also spending about 40 hours a week on like training stuff, and then additional time on school stuff because school's back in session again. So it's just that's where like my kind of alignment with the whole 50 levels by the end of the month is kind of unrealistic, but that's for somebody of my position. But I liked what Theater said about the map adding like building like huts and camps and such for the new map. I just wish there was a way to toggle between the maps and choose whatever map it was that you wanted to play. So you can do the bigger map, which has the bigger queue time, or the smaller map, which has the shorter queue time. So like, are you in there for fast matches? Go with the smaller winter map. If you're in there for the big matches where everybody is like hiding from each other and it's all a showdown at the end, like choose the bigger map. Like, I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, and that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and that's definitely an argument you could make, but at the same time, that larger map is designed for 100 players. So anything less than 70, you start running into long, boring matches where nobody sees each other until near the end.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
you
that
could
was gonna
literally do like a long queue to get that many people in.
I think at this point there's so many people, and this is maybe just my viewpoint on it. There's so many people that are trying to get through the levels that the longer game, the only thing that would help them with would be if they need to get like buildings destroyed, because there's more buildings on the bigger map that you could break down. But aside from that, there's they'd be able to get through much more, or many more, of the individual quests, as well as just experience per match by going through the smaller one, just rapid fire.
Yeah.
Like jump in there, hopefully get a kill or two because you got all the people right there in a smaller area, and continue on.
Yeah.
But yeah, to move on to some other stuff there. And by the way, Lyiat, go ahead and keep thinking on that favorite podcast or handcrafted video as we go along. But there was on the forums, there was a post by Robin Dumarche that I thought was, interesting, maybe mainly just because of 2 responses I saw. But it's titled, "How important is tab targeting?" And The favorite serious post, and the one that actually makes sense, is from Jalen. And he basically ended up saying that it was going to be because of promises. Tab targeting, they wouldn't be able to get rid of it. That was the main core question in the post was, could they just get rid of it? Do we still need it? It's kind of an antiquated thing. It was great with older games where the technology would limit things, but now the technology is so designed for doing more action combat and things like that, that why do we even need it? And Jalen basically said, their promise originally was going to be to combine action and tab. So if they get rid of tab, they would go back on the promise of saying that if they can't get action and tab to work together, they would fall back on just straight tab target combat, and that was it. So there'd be a bunch of people that would just say, hey, I want a refund. Hey, I want a refund. Even if for the sole reason of, hey, they didn't like all the cosmetics that were released thus far, and they just want to reduce down how much money they spent on Ashes.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But what's your take on that, Lyiat? What do you think? How important is tab targeting to you?
So, tab targeting has kind of been married to MMOs for a very, very long time. Most of the MMOs you play these days are tab target, especially the big ones like World of Warcraft. A lot of things like Guild Wars still has a lot of tab target mechanics. Of course, Arcade, as you mentioned before, is tab target. I'm trying to think of the Star Wars one. The Old Republic is tab target. But you do have some newer games with the action centric, like Black Desert Online and what was it called? Terra Online.
Yeah, Terra. And also one of my favorites that died, Wildstar. Made me so sad.
So action is becoming more and more viable, and this is coming from somebody who works in the tech industry, I'm not sure if action is perfectly viable with everything that we have as far as technology goes. I don't think internet speeds are there in most of the main countries of the world, especially the United States, where a lot of people have slower internet connections just because that's what's available in their area. Which is why things like BDO and Terra don't remain popular for very long. And furthermore, with the things that Ashes of Creation is specifically trying to do, things like 500 versus 500 castle sieges, trying to get that all to work with an action system that feels reactive and something that you have perfect influence over is going to be a challenge because of the nature of mass combat. I don't think the amount of control that action combat gives you will make you feel good in those giant battles. You're going to want something a little bit more slow, a little bit more deliberate, where you can plan your attacks and not have to worry about fine-tuned aiming, like nailing headshots and that sort of thing, which is why I think tab targeting is something at the very least that needs to stay in some form or fashion.
That makes sense. And just to clarify, tab targeting is, well, self-explanatory, but the action targeting is kind of what we're seeing in the BR right now, where if you swing and if you're within the hit range and you hit somebody's hitbox with it, that gives them damage, correct?
That's a rudimentary version of it.
Just very basic ideas behind it. Just in case, because I have friends that watch these and they're not really game versed, so I'm just trying to like dumb it down a little and explain it a little bit. But
she just called her friends dumb.
No, I did not.
That was so mean.
Why are you doing this to me?
No, but But yeah, I see what you're saying with that, and I would agree to a point. Like I think that at least like your general attacks, and yeah, this I actually loved that post from Atama that's on the screen right now. But yeah, that's kind of like on the lines of playing Anna in Overwatch, where you had to snipe people to heal them. And it's like, hey, why don't you go ahead and sit still so I can heal you? Well, I would, but then someone's going to kill me because they'll catch up to me.
Yeah, your healer has to be a better shot than the people trying to kill you.
Exactly. Like best sniper is not the damage dealer. Just saying. But I mean, along the lines of like specific things like healing and special attacks as a DPS or as a tank or something, where you definitely need a pinpointed accuracy and you need it to not miss, so to say. That's where tab targeting would come in handy. But with heals, I feel a lot of that could also be navigated by saying you have a certain and a visible indicator of where your heals are going to go. And then it always targets the one in most need, like the lowest health person. Or if it's a cure and you toss it that way, it's whoever needs something cured. And then it's going to default to, say, the person who needs to be cured but also has the lowest hit points or something similar to that.
Right.
A lot of that can be gotten around with systems like that, where it's a smart heal. Because if you're aiming that way and you're like, oh my god, that person, I need to heal them, you know who you're trying to heal. So the action heal could just drop it that way, and it's going to heal that person who's lowest.
Those smart heals are definitely more of an example of tab targeting, though. Though I see what you mean with like, kind of like you shoot out like a burst of healing magic, and maybe it heals all people in a line, or maybe it just heals the weakest person. That would be a little bit more action, I suppose. Yeah, that's exactly what I was aiming towards. Like you cast it in this general direction and this certain shape. Like you need some kind of visible cue for what the shape is, but whoever the most in need of that action when you kick it out is going to catch it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting, actually.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot less, when it comes to healing specifically, I'm expecting a lot less abilities where you need fine-tuned aiming and more, you got a lot of tab target abilities, but you also got stuff like a healing wall that you can throw down, or like a healing bubble, stuff that chains between multiple people, a healing explosion.
Makinoji, by the way, says that ESO would be the closest example to what Virtek's talking about.
Yeah, see, ESO I never picked up. But Wildstar actually had a good combination of tab target. It had the action, and then it also had some of them that were smart heals.
Yeah.
Where you'd toss out an area of effect thing, and it would go after the person who needed it the most in that area.
Honestly,
then certain other things were tab targeted.
Right. Like, honestly, I don't really have an opinion on this because I don't specifically know exactly how Intrepid Studios is planning to utilize that within the Ashes of Creation system. So that's something that definitely intrigues me. But yeah, in the interest of moving things along a little bit. Okay, cool. Theater, I don't need woohoo, I need your Twitter, or your Twitch thing. Unless you're doing a joke, then that's fine. But the shout out is so I could shout out your Twitch channel. But you could also woohoo, that's more than welcome. I'm not saying don't woohoo. But another skill oriented, because we're talking about skills and healing and whatnot, but the triple lunge that was recently added for the most recent BR situation is, I don't know, is that something that you're expecting to see in the game as an actual skill for the MMO, or a pickup that you can get for the skill for the MMO?
So I fully expect there to be a lot of movement-based abilities, but I don't expect a wizard to do the triple lunge. I'm expecting different movement abilities for all the different classes, and we've seen some of them. For example, there was an early trailer. This was, I think, a couple of years ago, where they were kind of doing this sort of dungeon run, and it ended with this giant molten spider thing bursting through a wall and screeching at people. But they had this moment where a wizard ran off of a cliff and then summoned this bubble around them and floated the distance between the two points.
I remember that video.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot more stuff like that, where maybe your warrior has a fast charge that sends them from point A to point B really fast. You've got your ranger with the triple lunge, perhaps, and then you have other abilities for all the other classes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, like, I agree.
But yeah, I know Steven had said at one point during one of the streams somewhere that it's going to end up being a skill in game, but it's not going to be available to everybody or something like that. So I was thinking something more like the ranger. One of the ranger classes would probably get that specific skill.
Well, also the other thing,
jumpy.
yeah, the other thing I was going to mention is if you've played the BR, if you watch people that play the BR, if you noticed, they only allow certain weapons to do the triple, like the triple lunge. So you can't just do it with any weapon. So that kind of that does lay down the base framework for what Lyiat said.
Well,
also,
all
yeah.
melee weapons can.
Yeah, melee only. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but with the wizard, not being able to do it, that's not really melee. But
Yeah.
what Makinoji did say was that the wizard one, where there's the bubble and you jump from here and it teleports you and lands you on the other one. Apparently, it was OP, and so I believe it's supposed to be scrapped, not scraped. But yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, that one specifically might not exist, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe the wizard has a blink, or
right.
maybe a feather fall or something,
Yeah.
Sweet feather fall.
And here's the thing, my opinion when it comes to now that that's been brought up with it being too OP, is I think Ashes is actually a decent point, if anything else, to test during the development. Actually making certain classes OP with certain things that they're supposed to be able to accomplish. I know they've already said there's going to be different class skills that will benefit, say, a PvP arena or a dungeon or a raid, because only that class can, say, see hidden path stuff
If you have found this crystal, then you know of our doom. You know of the days of yore, of the ancient times of magic and plenty. You know
sorry,
of Verra
hold on.
and all of
I'm
the
trying
wonder
to
and
pause it. There we go. It's gone. Sorry.
All good. But yeah, each class would have its own separate thing that it can do that other classes can't do. In the same manner where I think that they could make each class somewhat OP in their own separate thing as well. Say the mage could have kept its OP travel thing there, but say another class is going to end up being OP in a different area for a different thing.
Right.
They're in a good position to be able to test that still, because we haven't even hit the actual MMO testing.
So there's this quote I like to use from time to time from the late Total Biscuit, may he rest in peace. When everything is OP, nothing is OP. And it's perfectly acceptable for everything to have some really powerful skills, as long as everything has really powerful skills, and in that way they balance each other out.
It's kind of like the whole idea of the legendary equipment. The legendary equipment is going to be much, much better and more powerful than regular equipment, but if all the legendaries are balanced out, then, it just seems OP to somebody who's using something not legendary equipment kind of thing.
Yeah. But it's figured it'd be neat to see if everybody had their own separate skill that they could be OP with, and that would be pretty cool.
Right. I wanted to go ahead and re-show the video real quick, if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull that back up here.
If you have found this crystal, then you know of our doom. You know of the days of yore, of the ancient times of magic and plenty. You know of Verra and all of the wonder and beauty it once held. You know what you have lost. However, there is hope, for you yet still live. We knew something was wrong immediately after the Harbingers fell. The blackened, twisted spires of rock rose high up to the heavens, pulsating with a magic most unnatural. The wind tore at my magical wards as black lightning forked the skies. A sense of pervading wrongness filled my entire being. Every breath felt like it would be my last as I pressed forward. I had to know what happened to my homeland, to what lay beyond the harbinger of our doom. What had become of my Alaran, the home I knew so well. I joined my fellows at the gate, my brothers and sisters of Verra, my fellow refugees from this torn land. I wondered what fate would await us in the new sanctuary beyond the home that I knew. Sadly, that was only the beginning of our fall.
And if that seems choppy to you guys, it's intentional. I took some clips. You guys should definitely check out the entire video on Lyiat's YouTube channel. I definitely recommend it.
Yes. It's very good. It's very good. As stated, it's probably what, like 8-9 minutes long, something in there.
Something like that.
Yeah, let's see. It's 8 minutes 45 seconds.
So yeah, you're not going to be there all day. It's a quick watch.
Yeah, and he does go into a little bit of a preemptive, like, by the way, this is a thing that, you know, we were thinking of, etc. So.
Yeah, which is like the first 2 minutes. You can skip it.
Yeah. So we basically covered the info that he talks about in the first minute and a half or so.
Relatively.
But
worth a watch.
Yeah. So the other thing out there that is nearing its end is if anybody is still trying to get, a cloak, probably not. But I do believe, I could be wrong, I haven't asked him directly in a while, but I think Lex might still have one more Griffin code for the second Wikiversary giveaway. So there's the link, check it out. They have currently, if you go to that page, it'll tell you the current running of codes. They have 172 have been found out of 219. And it ends
cool,
in 6
they changed
days.
it.
Yeah. And there's on that same page, you're also going to find a link to the Discord, which, by the way, he puts out hints when somebody hasn't found a couple codes in a while. He'll put out hints on where some of them are. So definitely worthwhile signing up for the Discord and checking it out over there.
I agree. And that Griffin, by the way, is looking mighty sweet, if I do say so myself.
I want one. That's pretty much my goal right now is I need to find somebody who has a code that will give it to me.
Good luck.
Well,
Because
tell you what, if I find it, sorry, I'm not giving it to you.
yeah. Right. I would not expect anybody to. But because I think everyone's after that. And apparently there's an armor code that like nobody is giving away almost. It's even more rare than the Griffin apparently. But
Yes, the armor of the Golden Sun, also known as the armor, the Shroud armor, which he wore during his stream.
okay, so all we got to do is stream for a lot of people.
Yes.
Oof.
30,000 people watching you.
I
That's all
get
we
like
gotta do, we just gotta get
maximum
30,000
10
people.
people, so that's not gonna happen for me. Maybe when I can
Yeah.
get the blackout curtains and I can stop having, you know, my environment getting randomly dark as the time goes on.
Right. But yeah, Z, we haven't gotten either the Griffin nor the armor. We've gotten
No.
neither of those.
I
We've both
found
gotten the cloak,
codes. I found codes that were already used though.
Yeah. But
so
speaking of other contests that are just about ending, the Glorious Gourd contest is also just about ending. It's going to be over on the 29th of October at 11 a.m.
Intrepid, please tell me if this qualifies as a submission. I've got one right here.
Yeah, it looks marvelous. It looks marvelous.
Thank you. I have the Edward Scissorhand as my designer, so
Yeah.
you know.
He's the assistant. He did a pretty good job helping out.
Yeah, you know, pretty useful. I'm really bad with scissors. He seems pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going out this weekend, buying a pumpkin, and trying my hand at something.
You know, I kept thinking that I wanted to try to make a golden feather on a pumpkin and everything, but I'm so bad with knives. Like Virtek can tell you this. I'm really bad with knives. So like me trying to carve a pumpkin is just not that great of an idea. But I will show you a few that have been submitted so far, as well as, by the way, October 31st, be excited for some spoopy live streams from Ashes of Creation, 11 a.m. PDT. That is next Thursday for those of you who can't do calendar math, because sometimes I can't. So,
Bree, my body is ready for that.
yes.
Right.
I am so
cannot
excited.
wait.
I love the spoops. They're my favorite.
There's also, speaking of pumpkin carving, one of the Fan Art Fridays was, if you could dig up that picture for that one, the pumpkin one.
Huh? I'm just waiting for you to announce it.
Yeah, it was on the 18th. They chose out something just that was shared with them. It wasn't really a Fan Art Friday. I thought it was really cool though. It's a lump of clay apparently they had sitting around, and they shaped one side into a pumpkin, and the other side they carved a face into it. So they kind of did both. They created the pumpkin and then carved out the spoopy face.
Yes, that's the tree ant from the new map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The giant scary face thing.
I definitely the world boss. Yeah.
I like to hide in his crown. Just saying. If I end up getting actual good finds early on and I get a good bow, I like to hide up there.
Well, that's good to know, because I love killing people in that crown.
I like trying to see if I can get into places that I don't think I should be getting into. But yeah, by the way, this is the tweet from Coastal FC, Costa LFC, I don't know. But yeah, didn't have a pumpkin, but did have some clay.
Yeah. But there is an actual post for a Fan Art Friday that actually came out earlier today. And if you bear with me, I'm going to get the link for that too. It was, they said targets locked. This week's Fan Art Friday features Uria's Tulnar Scion, drawn by Starduster. It's actually pretty cool. It's like a little, I just thought of Fushi as soon as I saw it. Like a little fox. Actually, maybe it's more of a husky.
Looks a little bit more like a husky, but you know what? It's still Fushi. Maybe Fushi, if you're in here, we need to know, do we have your approval? Is this Fushi enough?
Is it Fushi enough? He does have a pretty sick bow, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I like the use of the bioluminescence that is kind of taken from the Underrealm. I love that.
Yeah. I can't tell if it's supposed to be maybe a double lunar eclipse type setup, or like a super crescent moon, or if it's
maybe
actually
it's like another
bioluminescence from, like, a
planet.
mushroom.
Oh, that's true.
That's actually one of the trees from the Underrealm.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it actually has the big glowing discs on it.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
I
really
recognize it from the Underrealm preview. That's another one of the videos that they did a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't recognize the big glowing discs. I was thinking maybe those are like moons up in the sky or something. See? That's why it's nice having other people's viewpoints sitting around. They remember stuff you don't.
But yeah, let's see. Let's check in with our bot here. Yeah, we are 1 hour and 40 seconds, just barely over an hour.
Timing is the thing.
We did have some technical difficulties. I'm sorry. Like, I constantly throughout the week, these last few weeks, I've been opening OBS, double checking it's updated, double checking that Zoom is updated, all these things. And of course, right when I thought everything was perfect and good to go, it failed me. So
Yeah, as soon as there was the start streaming button pushed.
yeah,
Nope.
it was like no memory, and I was like, what? That doesn't sound right.
No such thing as a stream without issues. It's never gonna happen.
It just
Not an Ashes
it doesn't
stream.
exist, right?
If it's a stream about Ashes, it's going to have technical issues.
Yeah.
Until proven otherwise, it is a fact.
But yeah, Lyiat, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything that you want to let people know before we close out? Any upcoming things that you want to tell people?
Nothing super big. I do plan on releasing some kind of spooky non-Ashes related video sometime next week,
Nice.
where you'll get to hear me and Asley screaming our heads off because, you know, horror. But after that, I'm gonna have more lore related videos, including the next episode in the current lore mock-ups that I'm doing, along with some videos based off of official lore, and that comedy video that I'm putting together that I'm going to work on through most of next week.
Nice. I look
Awesome,
forward to
awesome.
those. Also, in case you guys didn't know, you can follow us on Twitter, and we also have a Discord that you can join, and I'm just using my phone real quick, so it's quiet typing. But on our Twitter, we try to retweet these things, so if you guys don't already follow the Scion Firefly or Lyiat, you can check through our retweets. We tweeted out one of his videos recently, as well as join our Discord and see things as they're being posted to our community area. Or if you draw or make music or videos and you want to share your stuff, that you're more than welcome to as well. You're gonna say something, Virtek?
No, I was well, at least not at that moment.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was gonna say in final closing thoughts from you there, Lyiat. Did anything come to mind as far as a favorite lore video? It doesn't even have to be a favorite, just the one that comes to mind immediately.
Honestly, not really. I don't have too many favorite videos. I do have favorite personalities in the community,
Okay.
and
That works.
Those are partially because these are two guys I've really gotten to know, and I know that they work really hard in their own respective areas. Jalon has to be one of my favorite guys for keeping on up to date, you know, informational stuff. He's always on point, he's always accurate, and he delivers the exact kind of content that you'd want if you want to remain up to date on the MMO and everything involving in it. And of course, D Phantom TV, a guy that I play a lot with. He does some of the best gameplay on the web for Ashes of Creation. So those two are really my strongest when it comes to this community, and they're great guys as well.
No, absolutely, I would fully agree.
Yeah, same.
We actually last week we went and we raided D Phantom's channel because he was doing an Ashes minigame thing.
Is he doing it today?
No, he's not.
Ah.
Mainly because of the smaller queues, the smaller lobbies. He says
that's
there wouldn't
fair.
be enough interest or entertainment with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can make him do it tomorrow. I'm gonna kick in his butt.
I was hoping to be able to raid somebody, but yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us, chat. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and we are still doing every other week until we can officially decide like when it's okay for us to go every week. Personally, for me, one of the goals I'd like to accomplish before we go every week is to be absolutely up to date with the current podcast, most recent podcast. So like, for example, by Monday, this podcast would be uploaded if we were up to date. We're just barely behind, but Virtek's over there slaving away. So
Yeah, we got about 3 more to put out, and then they would be caught up. So
Yeah,
It's
pretty
fine.
much.
Give me another week. They'll be edited. It'll be posted. We'll be good.
Yeah, and I'll start trying to incorporate like the date somehow somewhere into the video, so those of you watching on YouTube after we've uploaded this can see when we actually did the video. Because I know there was a little bit of confusion about that. One of the videos we uploaded, somebody was like, "What do you mean there's no news?" I was like, "Well, at the time of recording, there was no news."
Yeah.
So things happen, you know, but we're doing our best to get back on track, and yeah. So as of right now, the next time we will be live will be on Friday, November 8th. And if you guys want to, this is like not Ashes related, that's why I'm saving it to the very last. I'm thinking of doing a birthday stream on my birthday, November 4th. And if you want to come hang out with me and keep me company on my birthday while Virtek works, feel free. Otherwise, we'll see you on the 8th with our newest guest. Thank you so much, Lyiat, again for joining us.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Happy to have you here. And again, great job on the video. Thanks everybody for joining us and watching and joining in the conversation. Love you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate
Adios.
that. See you next
See you
time.
later.